All right, we're moving right along here. We're at number 4 so far in my 5 tips to help you out. Planning. Planning is this tip. Planning is part of the process. There is no run and gun. That's what I'm trying to get away from. That's what I'm trying to help you avoid. Photographers are planning people. Some photographers go about it slightly different than others, but generally speaking, it means sitting down or over the phone and talking about a wedding, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but several times. For example, my signature wedding packages, weddings that I book at least 1 year out and at a particular value and price point, include 4 planning sessions before we even begin talking about the when, who, what, when, where, why, and how. Those planning sessions have more to do with color and aesthetic and feeling than anything else. And they kind of begin to plan the timeline a little bit. But mainly, those planning sessions help us put together what type of photography the bride and groom want. It's very important. One of the tools that I use to do that is a shot list. Now, not all photographers use shot lists, and I'd advise against that. And here's why. A shot list isn't just a piece of paper that you're going to check things off against, although it serves that purpose. Liability-wise, it says to me as a photographer that we've sat down, discussed this, and I've got a full understanding of the type of images that you want. Later on, if you say that I didn't capture an image, I can say we didn't even talk about that kind of image. Remember, photography at your wedding is a live event, and there are things that come up. But when you work with a list, even if you don't pull that list out every time you take a picture at the wedding, as a photographer, when you work with it, that means you've discussed it and you've got a plan. But more importantly, here's what the shot list actually does. It helps us create, it helps us plan, it helps us kick the tires and get creative juices flowing. Because on my shot lists, I have 100 of my favorite shots and my signature shots on there as well. Shots that are my absolute favorite that I capture at every wedding. And when you're looking at that as a bride or a groom or a couple or a mom and a dad, you'll be able to look at this, and this will help spark different imaginative things to help us plan something completely new. I love Pinterest. I like when brides and grooms find images that they like and send me a link to a Pinterest board, but not 10,000 links. I don't need 10,000 links whatsoever. I need a couple of little pins on a board, and that can help a bride who's very proactive determine her style and share it with a photographer, especially during their first meeting. And she can say, hey, these are the types of images that I like. Do you have images that look like these? And the photographer can say yes or no. One other thing with planning in Pinterest, here's kind of a deadfall. We want a pitfall we want to avoid. When you're a bride and you're on your tablet and you're going through Pinterest and you're pinning all these other things, you are picking 1 or 2 pieces of work from thousands of pieces of work out there. You're going by and setting what would be known as a survivor bias. You're picking only the excellent, best, perfect photos for your wedding. And they are across maybe hundreds of different photographers. I've had brides come to me with Pinterest boards that have 500, 600 images pinned to them. That's way too much. It's way too much because 500 or 600 different images, you have so many different photographers that you've chosen. You haven't selected a style, you've selected a genre. And we need to work that down to find out what it is that you like. It's really easy through a conversation with your photographer and just looking at through some images together. But once you've got it, it's good to stick with it and continue rather than continue kind of adding to it. Less is more when we're determining your style, and less is more for you when you're picking your look. So there we go. Number 4 was very simple. Planning is part of the process. There's no run and gun.